This morning's scripture will be read from Philippians chapter 1, verses 1 through 11. Paul and Timothy, bondservants of Jesus Christ, to all the saints in Christ Jesus who are in Philippi, with the bishops and deacons, grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. I thank my God upon every remembrance of you, always in every prayer of mine making request for you all with joy, for your fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in you will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. Just as it is right for me to think this of you all, because I have you in my heart, inasmuch as both in my chains and in the defense and confirmation of the gospel, you all are partakers with me of grace. For God is my witness, how greatly I long for you with the affection of Jesus Christ. And this I pray, that your love may abound still more and more in knowledge of all discernment, that you may approve the things that are excellent, that you may be sincere and without offense till the day of Christ, being filled with the fruits of righteousness with our by Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God. Please be seated.
What a beautiful opportunity for us to begin a new year. We're thankful that you're here for the first Sunday of 2013. As I look around, I see a lot of faces that have returned, and hopefully as you enjoy this season, don't be in any hurry to go back north. I can predict that it's going to be a very late spring, maybe August, September, something like that. So we're glad that you're here, and as always, on the first day of the week, we're glad that we can worship together. If you have your Bibles, turn to Philippians chapter 1. We'll look there right where Chuck was reading in just a moment. If you have your bulletin, you can look on the inside front page. There's an outline for our lesson today that may be helpful as we go along through the lesson. So you can take those and follow together. Heard about a grocer that put a sign out, said eggplants, 25 cents, 3 eggplants for $1. Well, all day long, there were customers coming up to the grocer and saying, we should get 4 eggplants for $1. The grocer would kind of meekishly put 4 eggplants in the bag and sell them the 4, and that's how it would go. The next door neighbor to the grocer was a dry cleaner. Well, he happened to observe this, and so he finally, in the afternoon, came over to the grocer and said, why don't you just fix the sign? Wouldn't it be easier to just say 4 eggplants for $1? The grocer looked at him. He said, you don't understand. He said, before this, nobody ever bought more than 1 eggplant. Sometimes we have our own motives. Philippians chapter 1, Paul has some motives, but I can assure you that they are far from selfish. What he desires is what's best for his brothers and sisters in the church at Philippi. If you think back to the beginning of the church in Philippi, in Acts chapter 16, as Paul and Silas were on the second missionary journey, Paul had a vision. And there at the beginning of Acts 16, verses 6 to 10, he saw a man in this vision who said, come over to Macedonia and help us. And so he went over to the region of northern Greece. And we have the first European converts. As Paul and Silas got to Philippi, they didn't find a synagogue, because there weren't, at least evidently, 10 Jewish males to form one. And so he went to the river where he heard that there were some women who met for prayer. And there he met a businesswoman by the name of Lydia. She was quite successful, obviously, and there the Lord opened her heart. Now, before you read that passage and jump to a conclusion, understand that she heard the gospel. God did not do something for Lydia that He is not willing and not trying to do in the life and the heart of every one of us and everyone out there. When it says that the Lord opened her heart, the way, that is the tool, was because she heeded the things that were spoken by the Apostle Paul. As we speak the good news of the gospel to people, they have a choice. They can hear or they can reject. Jesus was, without a doubt, the greatest preacher to ever live. And yet many rejected the words that Jesus spoke. Were they true? Yes. Were they powerful? Yes. Were they essential to their relationship with God? Yes. But they still declined the message. They turned it down. They rejected it so much that they rejected Jesus along with His words. Lydia and her household are converted. That is, all those who heard the gospel, believed in Jesus, repented of their sins, were baptized there in Acts 6:15. The next thing that we see is Paul and Silas are going about the city of Philippi preaching the message. There's a young slave girl, demon-possessed, who follows them, and she says something there in Acts 16, about verse 16, 17, that these are servants of the Most High God who proclaim to us the way of salvation. You say, what's wrong with that? Well, the message, that is, what she declared, was true. So that wasn't the problem. But the way that her masters were using her in a way of divination, or kind of like what we would say is palm reading or tarot card reading or soothsaying, it was something that Paul didn't want to be associated with. It wasn't something that was condoned by God, and so Paul wanted to distance himself, so he turns around there in Acts 16, about verse 18, and commands the demon to come out of the girl. Well, naturally, those who were receiving a profit from what that girl was doing were upset. So they had Paul and Silas thrown in prison because they were Jews, after all. They were of that Jewish background, and so they're thrown in jail after being beaten with rods, that is basically like with broom handles. They'd laid many stripes on them. There they are, beaten sore. And you can just imagine what Paul and Silas were thinking in the middle of the prison. Why did this happen to us? We're just trying to tell people about Jesus, and, really, we didn't deserve this. In fact, we could throw our own little pity party right here. Is that what the Bible records? Far from it. There in Acts 16:25, it says that Paul and Silas were singing hymns and praises to God at midnight. You may say, well, they couldn't sleep. They were so sore. No comfortable place to lay down. They're giving thanks to God. Praising God that they could suffer for the name of Christ. That they could represent the one who had saved them from their sins. They had such a heart filled with love for Jesus that even in the persecution, they said, praise God. Is that how our hearts are? There in prison that night, there was an earthquake, and the jailer thought, because the doors were open, that all the prisoners had escaped. He called for a light when Paul told him not to kill himself, because that was the kind of oath that they were under. If the prisoners did escape, he would be executed the next day. The light's brought. He sees that all the prisoners are still there. He falls down before Paul, Silas. They preach to him Jesus there in Acts 16:32, speaking to him the way of the Lord. As they teach him, he and all his family are baptized. And it says there in Acts 16:34 that he brings them into his house, sets food before them, having believed in God, rejoicing with all his household. There's a believer. No, not just because he had a head knowledge or a belief, but because he had obeyed what God said. A genuine Bible believer is someone who obeys what God tells them. They believe it enough to trust him to say, if you said it, Lord, that's what I'm going to do. So after they were baptized, they're believers, and they're rejoicing. This beginning, by the way, then Paul uses his Roman citizenship in order to protect the reputation of the gospel, to make sure that they don't act, the city magistrates don't act hastily like that again. And so it is that that's the beginning of the church. Paul and Silas didn't stay in Philippi too long, evidently, but about 10 years later, as Paul is now in prison in Rome. You look at the last couple of verses of the book of Acts, Paul's in his own rented house, under house arrest with one of the Roman soldiers kind of chained there or stuck with him to make sure that he didn't leave, awaiting trial. And so it is that from this prison there in Rome, that Paul writes 4 what we call prison letters: Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, and Philemon. Philippians is one of those. When Paul writes to the Philippians, he's in prison. I wonder, as he thought about these people, how many of them, because of their salvation, had been set free from prison. You say, what kind of prison? The prisons that people experience today. The prisons of worry. The prisons of bad relationships. The prisons of possessions. The prisons of various circumstances that we gripe and complain when we fail to see the blessings that are all around us that God has given us. This letter to Philippians is different than some of his other letters. In other letters, like Corinthians, Paul has to address so many problems, whether it's doctrinal problems or practical problems. In Philippians, it's Paul's sweetheart church. Every preacher needs one. By the way, I feel like I have one right here. Paul writes to them, and he's just so positive. We've entitled this series Prescription for Joy, because Paul, just over and over in this letter, talks about his rejoicing. He's full of happiness for their life as Christians. And we, as we live as Christians, we ought to be joyful too. I will tell you that nothing will attract people who are lost to Jesus Christ more than a joyful Christian. Now, before you, again, lay a heavy dose of guilt on yourself for maybe not always being on top of the world, I don't mean that you always have to be up and so happy that you just ignore everything, but I mean that there is an inner consolation and joy that no one and nothing can ever take from you. Nothing can strip that away. Nothing can tear or pry that out of your very being. Your heart, mind, soul, spirit has that joy because it's your relationship with God that gives it. And so Paul talks about their identity. Look at verses 1 and 2. He says, Paul and Timothy, and he identifies them as bondservants, slaves. This particular kind of a slave is under total control of the master. They had assigned themselves, they had given themselves over to the master and said, my life is in your hands. In 1 Corinthians 6, 19 and 20, Paul had said to the Corinthians, or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, who you have from God, and you are not your own, for you were bought at a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. The first blank there, slaves. Servants. We're servants to God. We are not our own. We've been bought at a price. In Romans chapter 6 and verse 22, listen to Paul as he describes that transformation from what they were to what they are. He says, but now having been set free from sin and having become slaves of God, you have your fruit to holiness and the end, everlasting life. If that doesn't give you joy, I don't know what will. You say, but I'm a slave. I didn't want to be a slave, but you have everlasting life. That's the goal. That's the aim. That's the hope. Then he says, we're saints. The word saint means something set apart for God's use. In the tabernacle or the temple, all of the furnishings, all of the articles that were used there, including the priesthood, belonged to God. They were holy. They were special. They were sanctified. You, in Jesus Christ, right there in 1 Corinthians 6:20, we just said you were bought. How were you bought? According to Acts 20:28, the blood of Jesus. You've been set apart for His use. Not only do you not belong to yourself anymore, you're under His control, you're a slave to Christ, but you're for His use. You're holy. And that means that you should not be defiled, you should not be compromised, you should not be tainted by anything that is part of the world. It's not that we can't live in the world. We've got to think differently. We've got to love differently. We've got to show God's purpose. Look there in verse 2. Grace to you and peace. Over and over, these greetings are used. We often say that the grace was the common Greek greeting and peace was the common Jewish greeting. But notice that this grace is from God. It's God's unmerited favor. It's something that we didn't deserve, but now we possess. And let me tell you, now that I have it, I don't want to let go of it. The Bible teaches that we can fall from grace, but again, that's not what should be probable if we understand what we've received. When you have something that you long for, when you have something that you know that you needed more than anything else, the last thing you want to do is turn loose of it. You're going to protect it, you're going to guard it, you're going to keep it. And that's the grace that we have from God, and peace. And that peace that we have from God, again, is not something that means that we always have things our way, things go smoothly in this life. But that peace is something that we have with God. And knowing that there's no hostility between me and God, that I'm good with Him, means that I have everything. Everything to look forward to. Our identity is something that brings us joy. And then he talks about our fellowship. As he talks about this, verse 3, he says, I thank my God upon every remembrance of you. Are there people in your life who had such an impact, who meant so much to you, that every time you think of them, they just fill your heart? Every time you think of them, you just have a fullness. It's just something that blesses you. Paul says, I thank my God upon every remembrance, every reflection, every memory that he had. Everything that happened to him in Philippi was not pleasant. But when it comes to his relationship with those Christians, he recognized their fellowship. The word fellowship means to share or have in common. It's something that we have participation or partakers in. It's a partnership. It's the kind of thing that brings us as a community. We have closeness. We have a connection. We have a cooperation, a partnership. What we have in common, this fellowship that we have, brings joy. I want you to look at what Paul talks about here from verses 3 to 11 and talk about some of the things that we have in common. This gospel is for everybody, and everybody belongs. I hear people from time to time talk about the church, and oftentimes they mean a particular local congregation, like South Trail. Sometimes people feel like that they just don't fit. They don't always seem to identify. Maybe they struggle because they don't find a best friend, somebody that they just click with. We talk about the church, everybody belongs. Everybody is accepted. And what we have in the church is something that transcends. It's not like some club that we belong to or some particular association or even something that we came together because we had a need. In the church, we have a need, and there's been something supplied. But because of this, we have something that we live for. And the church is what we live for. Jesus is what we live for. In 104 verses in Philippians, 50 times, Paul mentions Jesus, or by one of his titles. What about that? You think anything's wrapped up in Jesus? Oh, it's all wrapped up in Jesus. And you and I need to have Jesus at the center of our lives. Look at the outline there. We're partners in prayer. In verse 3 and 4, he talks about prayer. Always, in verse 4, in every prayer of mine, making request for you all with joy. Every prayer. You pray for one another. Here's what happens. If our hearts are full of gratitude, if we're thankful for what God has given us, you can't help but pray. If you see that you're not praying, let me tell you where the deficiency is. You don't see your blessings. You need to count your blessings. Once you start thinking about your blessings, your heart's going to overflow. I will guarantee you, if you turn it inward and you think it's all about you, that you'll start to lose that connection with God. You'll start to lose that power of prayer. But when you have gratitude, you flip that coin over, you're thinking of others. See, what God has done for me, He has intended to use me to bless others. If I pull myself out of the church, I've just deprived God from using me. You know what that is? That's basically an ingrate. That's somebody who doesn't appreciate what they have. Our joy is because of what God has given us. It's not because you had to go dig it up like gold or silver. It's not because you had to go drill for it like oil or natural gas or coal. Understand, it's something that is so precious what God has given us, it absolutely is going to find expression. And one of those expressions is in prayer. We're so connected to God. But how do you pray for others? You just pray, God, give all my brothers and sisters at South Trail the easy road. Give them the easy life. Give them the good life. Just help them to experience and have everything materially that they would want. You can pray that. And I'm not going to tell you not to think good in a physical way, but I want to tell you what I want you to pray for me. I want you to pray that God will work on me, that God will help me, that God will shape me, that God will transform me and use me to be able to help you and as many as possible. And I will tell you that if God has to put some problems and some difficulties and some obstacles in my life to help make me the man that He wants me to be, so be it. As long as I do whatever and I face whatever with God's help, I'll face it. It may not be easy, but I want you to pray for me that way, and I hope that you'll realize that there's no better thought, there's no better focus, there's no better imagination than what God can do. And prayer releases us from all the things that might otherwise consume us. You know what we call worry, anxiety about the future? By the way, you know who holds the future in His hand? God does. I'm not worried about the future as long as I face it with God. Number 2 there, partners in preaching. As he talks about the gospel, and again, 9 times in the book of Philippians, he mentions the gospel. This is what brought us together, this good news. This is what fills our hearts with joy, and this is what we get to do and have in common, we share. This saving message is to save others. I will tell you that there's not anybody, let me back up. So many times, somebody will have something good happen to them. You know how many times I run across people, and I hear ladies particularly, okay? They do a lot of the shopping. And I'll hear them say, oh, I went to such and such, and I got such a great deal. And they're telling them the great deal they got, whether it was on clothes or groceries or anything else, furniture, whatever kind of a good deal, they want to share that. If we can share with people the good deal that we got at some store for some product that quite honestly is probably going to be used maybe once if it's food, maybe a few times if it's clothes, but quite honestly, at some point, guess where it's going to end up? Probably in the landfill. If we can rejoice over that and share that good news, what about Jesus Christ? Do you realize when we share Jesus with others, we're going to have all eternity to enjoy that benefit, that blessing? This isn't some short-lived, this isn't something temporary, this is something lasting. So the gospel, we're partners in preaching the gospel, spreading the blessings. Number 3, we're partners in good works. Look at what he says there in verse 6. Being confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in you will complete it. It's God who's at work. With God, there's no hesitation of power. For God to change us, God never quits. God keeps working. I heard about a man who was at AA, and he stood up and he was talking to them. And he told them a little story about his watch. He had bought a very expensive watch with a chronometer. Well, it broke. Went to a number of repair shops. Nobody could fix it. He finally had to take that watch with that chronometer to the person who made it. The maker could fix it. What was the problem? It's too complex. Sometimes we think what's happened to us, what may be affecting us, what's broken in our lives, we're just too complex. It's just broken. It can't be fixed. Let me tell you why you're wrong. Because if God is working in you, He can fix it. If God is working in you, He can transform you. If God is working in you, He can change you. Have you ever had the experience, and again, in talking with people, I hear once in a while people say, you know, I just have gotten to the point where I just have a difficulty with my brothers and sisters in the church. I'm more comfortable with people outside the church than in. Now, I'll tell you, that gets my attention. My antenna's up, it's totally raised at that point because I know there's a problem. Let me tell you what it is, in my estimation. God is working on us. And you know what it takes when He's working on a diamond? It takes a diamond to cut a diamond. It takes God working on us to help us in such a way that we can be and grow to where He wants us to be. He's got to have us in a position where He can change us and mold us and shape us into what He wants us to be. Look at the next one there. In verse 7, partners in trouble. Now, I know some of the guys are thinking, oh, I used to get in trouble a lot. I like the sound of that. No, this is persecution. Jesus said, all these things they will do to you for my name's sake, because they do not know him who sent me. John 15:21. When people don't know God, they oftentimes persecute his children, his followers. And that's the kind of trouble, the testing. After all, Paul was in chains there in verse 7. For his defense and confirmation of the gospel, it wasn't for anything bad that Paul had done. It was because he was representing Jesus that he was facing this persecution. And we too can sometimes face persecution. And together we can encourage each other. We can bring the best out of each other. Then we're partners in love. Look at verse 8. For God is my witness how greatly I long for you with the affection of Jesus Christ. Heard about a couple. Wife was at the counselor and she said, there's just friction in our marriage. Okay? I won't ask anybody to raise your hands. Okay? We're not asking for that. She said there's friction in our marriage, and the counselor took 2 blocks and he said, let me show you how friction works. If one block is standing still and the other block is rubbing it, you get friction. Or if both blocks are moving but they're moving in opposite directions, there's friction. If both are moving toward God, there shouldn't be any friction. If we're moving closer to God, we won't have as much friction. We can get along when we're all trying to do what God wants. When we're trying to draw closer to God, when we're trying to love God, He's going to be able to bless our fellowship. And we're going to have the joy of working partners in love and being able to help each other. In the Old Testament, the high priest had a breastplate. It had 12 stones on it. It represented the 12 different tribes of Israel. They were all over his heart because there was an affection there that he should have as he was serving and ministering. And as we're serving and ministering one another, we need that love. We need that love. Peter said, but above all, have fervent love one for another, and that will cover a multitude of sins. 1 Peter 4:8. Heard of another couple that was in counseling, and this is just kind of a correlation to the church. But the counselor asked the husband, he said, tell me some of your wife's blunders. Surely she's made some mistakes. Tell me some of them. The husband thought for a second. He said, I can't remember any. The counselor said, are you kidding me? You can't remember any of your wife's mistakes? He said, no, I've forgiven them all. Love keeps no record of wrongs. We've got to be able to get to that point where our joy is not being weighted down because we constantly are keeping a list. We're constantly keeping up and pointing a finger and blaming one another. The love says, come on, we can get back up. We can go in the direction that God wants us to. And look at the last one here. It's that partners in excellence. It's the maturity. Look at verses 9 to 11. This I pray, that your love may abound still more and more in knowledge and all discernment. That knowledge and that maturity to distinguish or discern things. What do we discern? We discern priorities. We discern moral judgments. We understand what really matters. Let me tell you, as we stand here at the beginning of 2013, he says right here in verse 10 that you may approve the things that are excellent, that you may be sincere without offense. That word sincere means to stand the test of sunlight. The truth. If I let the truth examine my life, I can see in the mirror what God sees. The Bible gives me the opportunity to know my faults. And I will tell you right here, right now, at the beginning of 2013, I have made some resolutions. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better Christian. I want to be a better preacher. All right? For your sake, for my family's sake, I want to do some things. So what I would encourage you is you ask Gwen sometime later in the year, say, is Terry keeping his resolutions? All right? Other than the preaching, you can examine that for yourself. Understand, when a child is first starting out, they may see any kind of animal, they may go, bow wow. They make one sound for all. It's kind of like they think everything's a dog or everything's meow, everything's a cat. As they grow up, they start to distinguish. As we get more mature, we know the difference between right and wrong, and we know the difference between what's good and better and what's best. Sincere. Sincere. There is something that God has given us. He wants us to mature, and He wants us to help each other mature. Here, this prescription for joy is that we're all getting closer to God. We're all being more filled with the fellowship that God has given us, what He's given us in common, what we're partners in. There's a story that was told at Neil Armstrong's memorial service of a time when he was introduced to a retired Air Force colonel. The man's name was Tom Moe. And Neil Armstrong was introduced to Tom Moe. Tom Moe had been a fighter pilot in Vietnam. And while he was flying one of his missions, he was behind enemy lines. There was a malfunction in his plane, and he had to land or ditch the plane behind enemy lines. He was captured, and he became a prisoner of war for 5 years. And he talked to Neil Armstrong about those 5 awful years as a prisoner of war. He said that the guards that kept them tried to break their spirits in every way possible. They would tell them America is losing the war. They would tell them that the Americans didn't care about the POWs, that they were there and that there was nothing being done to try to get them free. They would tell them America has lost the space race. One of his fellow prisoners received a letter from his mother. And as typical, the guards went through it. They crossed out everything that might give any kind of hope. Anything that was good news, they tried to cross it out, marked it up, and then gave what was left of this letter from the prisoner's mother to him. But they missed one thing. When they gave this letter to him, they didn't miss any of the words, but on the envelope was a stamp. Guess what the stamp was? A picture of Neil Armstrong walking on the moon. They missed it. The prisoners were jubilant because now they had some good news. Now there was some reason for hope. What the guards were telling them were lies. And now all of a sudden the truth came through. Let me tell you something. Satan keeps telling lies. And he keeps saying there's no hope, there's no joy, there's nothing there. But let me tell you something. That empty tomb, Jesus, that He died on the cross, oh, there's victory. There's good news. There's something worth telling. There's something worth holding and keeping in your life and mine. I will tell you, if that doesn't give you joy, I don't know what will. It's something that will last. This morning, do you realize that that's the kind of joy that you've been missing? Paul said, for as many of you as have been baptized into Christ have put on Christ. That gospel message that was preached to Lydia and the jailer, and probably to the slave girl too, that was demon-free. These were the things. This is the message that everyone needs to hear. If you've never been baptized into Christ, do that today, so that you can leave here clothed with the joy that God wants you to have, free from all of your sins and forgiven of all your past mistakes. If you are a Christian and you realize somewhere this joy has kind of been diminished, or maybe even the light has been put out, snuffed out in your life, and you want that joy back, recommit yourself. If you have sin in your life that you want to acknowledge and confess, we'll be glad to pray with you, to encourage you. If there's anything. But don't leave here without that joy. Don't leave here without the joy of the fellowship that we have in Jesus Christ. If you need to come, just step down to the front right now. We'll be glad to help you while we stand, while we sing.